सेव किया था ना?
मैं सिर्फ इसलिए गया था क्योंकि उसने मुझे कॉल किया. That's it. But listen though.
Save it for someone else.
जिंदगी में सेव करना जरूरी है, मगर जब बात पैसों की हो, सिर्फ सेविंग से काम नहीं चलेगा. इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए और अपने सेविंग्स को आगे बढ़ने का मौका दीजिए.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
I'm with Ambassador Pavan Varma, very well-known author, former diplomat, very well-known politician, and Yashwant Deshmukh, director of C Voter Polling Agency, one of India's best-known political analysts and a familiar face on the print. And today, of course, we're talking about the incredible election results in Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, and also in Delhi, although the polls in Delhi were a municipal corporation poll. But nevertheless, we will discuss the impact of all these elections. And unless some of you are living under a rock, you know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has unleashed an absolutely seismic upheaval in Gujarat. The BJP has won like never before, over 50% of the vote. Hasn't done so well in Himachal, although we shall add that it's only less than 1% behind the Congress party, which won Himachal. The Aam Aadmi Party coming in very strong into Delhi. But let me first welcome both Ambassador Pavan Varma and Yashwant Deshmukh to the print debates.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Ambassador Varma, can I start with you and ask you about the significance of all these polls, the BJP, Prime Minister Modi's performance, the result in Himachal and in Delhi?
Well, first of all, Jyoti, I don't think it's seismic, as you say.
Okay.
I mean, the BJP's strong win in Gujarat was a given because it was a walkover.
Mm-hmm.
In the last occasion, 2017, the Congress, for all its natural constraints, gave a good fight, made the attempt at least, and the results showed that even in the stronghold of Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, a party that carries out a sustained campaign to present an alternative vision can do quite well. Although
Why was the Congress missing in action this time? Why didn't it give a good fight?
That's a question which you must ask the Congress. For instance, I find it absolutely inexplicable why the Padyatra, which Rahul Gandhi is taking now, did not include Gujarat, where on the last occasion, the Congress, although it lost, gave a credible performance. But that is a decision the Congress took. So it was a walkover. The AAP, for all its hype, was seeking actually only to get a certain percentage of the votes and make a beginning where its presence was felt. So it was really a walkover for the BJP in what is its stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not seismic. I mean, what could be said to be different was that it broke its previous record. But now, if you look at the other two elections, what do they show you? They show you that in spite of the charisma of Narendra Modi, in spite of the might of the BJP, in spite of its organizational, relentless organizational capabilities, where the people feel that the BJP needs to be replaced because of verifiable and legitimate discontents, none of this really matters. Now, if you look at Delhi, and I will just come to Himachal and finish in 1 minute.
Okay.
Look at Delhi. I'm not commenting on the merits of it. But rarely has a political party been targeted with such ferocity prior to the MCD elections on a variety of charges, including primarily corruption. And yet, the Aam Aadmi Party won, albeit the BJP also did better than expected, but the Aam Aadmi Party won because people want a change, notwithstanding everything the BJP has to offer in terms of money, in terms of Modi, in terms of organizational strength. Now, Himachal.
Right.
Himachal was state for the Congress to win big. I don't think there was any other state where the anti-incumbency was so high. There was the old pension scheme.
And yet the Congress party barely won.
That
Pavan Varma.
that has a story. That tells a
Okay.
story.
Can I
But
interrupt you and let me ask Yashwant Deshmukh to come in with his initial comments, and then we can continue with our debate. Mr. Deshmukh.
So I will try to start where exactly Pavanji has kind of left, on the Himachal, and you mentioned it very correctly. It's barely less than 1% actually difference between Congress and the BJP, and this so reminds me of 2018 Rajasthan and MP elections. You remember where Congress won, but the gap was just touch and go between the vote share, and at that point of time. Jyoti, we in the same trackers, in the same exit polls, same set of polls, we had clearly mentioned that there is 10 to 15 point gap in voting intention when we asked the people about whom would have the vote for the Lok Sabha would have today, which clearly mentioned that there is a split vote, and within few months, the same set of people are overwhelmingly going to vote for Modi as far as the Lok Sabha election is concerned. Same is happening in Himachal. There is almost like 10-point Modi dividend. In the same set of surveys and polls that we asked, where we said that it is touch and go, just a 1% or 2% gap between the two, the gap increases by 10 to 12% the moment you ask the same set of people about the Lok Sabha election. So that gives you one hard fact of, I know many people are oversimplifying and trying to think that as if Himachal has something to offer in terms of 2024, or for that matter, even MCD has something to offer for 2024. Unfortunately for them, it has nothing to offer, because in both the sets of electorate, the same set of exit polls, and not just us, everyone, when the same sets of exit poll, and I talked to a few of them, when they asked that whom would you have voted for if the Lok Sabha election would have been there is almost like 15% switch as far as Delhi is concerned. 15%, so that tells a lot, that tells a lot in terms of how the things are placed and how we should be reading them. Pawanji was bang on target. Whenever there is a huge anti-incumbency displeasure on the ground, people, if they find a viable alternative, they are voting for it. That is why people don't look at it in that way. But Jyoti, in the last 8 years, BJP has actually lost 50% of elections in India. 50% of elections in India.
Is that because it's got an alternative in those states where it has lost 50%?
Exactly the point. Alternative, and at which level? If they feel the alternative is suitable enough for Panchayat election, they will go for it. If it is suitable for Vidhan Sabha, they will. But if they do not find it suitable enough for Lok Sabha, they would rather swing to Modi for Lok Sabha and stick with it. So people are very clear in their layered mandate system, right?
But my question also is, Pavanji, that this layered system that Yashwant is talking about, in the states, if there is no alternative, you vote BJP. If there is one, then you vote for this alternative political party, the Congress party, for example, in Himachal. But the question is, even in Himachal, I mean, Priyanka Gandhi did 5 rallies. But if there was no Priyanka Gandhi, there is so much infighting even in the Congress party in Himachal Pradesh that the vote share is only 0.9% higher than the BJP. So even in Himachal, it seems as if the voter is saying, "Acha, theek hai, let us vote BJP," because the Congress is in any case not really a fighting party.
You're absolutely right that the Congress's victory in Himachal Pradesh, I am not a psephologist like Deshmukh ji, should have been bigger. There should have been a greater margin between the BJP and the Congress. But the Congress, remember, is not a fighting fit organizational apparatus anymore. I mean,
so what is Rahul Gandhi doing on his Bharat Jodo Yatra? वो किसको जोड़ रहा है? क्या जोड़ रहा है?
No, Bharat Jodo Yatra, again, that's a question for the Congress to answer. But I think what he believes is that the Bharat Jodo Yatra will enthuse the cadres. It has 3 straight dividends. A, Rahul Gandhi has been in India for the longest period without a break. B, he is for the longest period with the people on the ground. And C, it does enthuse the cadres in the states through which the yatra goes. So let's give it its due. But by delinking the yatra with the elections that are unfolding as we move towards 2024 is, in my view, a strategic mistake. But it's for the Congress party to decide, especially in the case of Gujarat. And as far as what Yashwantji said about the national choice versus the local choice in a assembly or a panchayat election, it's very clear, Jyoti. Unless the opposition unites, which means the AAP and the Congress don't fight separately in Gujarat, Congress and KCR don't fight separately in Telangana, Congress and TMC don't fight separately in West Bengal, and so on and so forth. Congress and AAP don't fight separately in Delhi. If you look at many of these elections, if you add the vote of those opposing the BJP, it is greater than the BJP. So the BJP is a natural beneficiary of the ostrich-like division and silos of the opposition. And the opposition refuses to smell the coffee. The second point, and I'll just end here, is that you need a pan-Indian face to counter that of Modi. Because otherwise the voter is left with no choice.
No, so right now there is no pan-Indian face. Your point that the opposition will hang if it doesn't hang together. But the question, Yashwant, is there more to the BJP than just this incredible election machinery? I mean, it's a juggernaut that you have talked about time and time again. But today in Gujarat, so when you look at the Gujarat results, do you see it as more than this big fat election juggernaut?
Well, certainly there is more to it. And I am absolutely sure you and Pavanji both would agree on that, because Pavanji also, I mean, he knows way more than me, and he understands the social intricacies of political wording. You see, problem is that, Jyoti, that Congress for 50 years survived on a grassroots strength which derived from the basic organizational network of the erstwhile Congress of the Freedom Fighter Party and the Congress Seva Dal and all that. You know, that entire infrastructure or the network eroded every election after election with the diminishing return. On the other hand, the RSS, or the mother organization of the BJP, has only grown in terms of their social outreach programs and their social whatever networking, as you may call it, not in terms of the technical social networking, but that way. And that has kind of crossed up a tipping point scale in Gujarat this time. And that tipping scale for me is basically crossing, when you are crossing a 50% vote block, then you in a multi-party democracy anywhere, in a presidential democracy, yes, it is a winning number, but in a multi-party democracy, it's a killer. That's the massacre that we saw yesterday. You know, when the opposition is split and you are crossing 50%. Now, obviously, there is more to it, because it's easy to say that brand Modi is delivering everything. Of course, brand Modi is delivering everything. In an electoral cycle, you need a face, appealing face, trustworthy face, and like that. But at the same time, even the best of the brand needs the apparatus downstairs to keep the momentum on at the socio-economic level, to be in the narrative, to keep on working on the ground. So this 50% weightage of this success, I think, goes to the organizational strength of the RSS BJP mechanism in Gujarat and so on in many other states.
So not so much brand Modi, not so much the personal charisma of Prime Minister Modi.
No, it is 50-50. I would say 50-50. In fact, many would argue that brand Modi has actually eclipsed everything else. But brand Modi himself will never say it, because he knows that he is the 50% of that equation, and 50% of the equation remains. This is why, classically speaking, Jyoti, do you remember the kind of stress and the kind of friction that the two things had when Vajpayee and Sudarshan were against each other? That costed them 2004 for all practical matters. Somehow they learned that from that mistake. And right now, even though I occasionally do come across very wishful bylines, you know, saying there is a problem between RSS and the BJP and Bhagwat and Modi and so on and so forth, we practically know who look at the things impartially, we know that they are moving very nicely, hand in hand in that way.
So the
We
question
don't
is,
see any friction over there.
right. So Pavanji, the question is, if it's 50-50, brand Modi 50%, the organization 50%, but in Himachal Pradesh, why is it that it was close, but they had a government, but why is it that they were not able to replicate their previous success?
Because Jyoti, Yashwantji has already told you, after 2014, BJP has lost 50% of the election. In spite of Amit Shah's Chanakya Niti, Narendra Modi's charisma, the organizational strength on the ground, because when there is an alternative and there are genuine discontents in the people, they will go for another option.
So who is
At
the
the local
alternative?
level, that is happening.
So what is the alternative in Himachal? Who is the alternative?
No, in the alternative in this system is a bipolar thing. It's either the BJP or the Congress, and they have been rotating. The Congress won this time. The problem with the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which I feel is a good sort of benign gesture of love and empathy, is that it is not supported and buttressed by a parallel organizational strengthening of the Congress. So after the Bharat Jodo Yatra, what happens? You have no organization on the ground.
Yeah. So there's no
And-
follow through, basically.
And I slightly differ from both of you on one question. I think it's no longer a difference between the RSS and the BJP. What the future will show you is a difference between the RSS and the BJP on the one side, and the Lumpun cadres they have empowered over the last decade, who are a law unto themselves. The fastest growing organization in the Sangh Parivar is the Bajrang Dal. The Bajrang Dal says we have a mind of our own. The head of the Hindu Yuva Vahini, set up by Yogi Adityanath as one of the parallel armies that are outside the BJP RSS. One of their leaders said, we don't need the BJP and RSS. We know what to do. In
No,
other
but right
words,
now they don't have an election machinery.
in other words, yes, this is something to watch out for the future, Yashwantji.
Yeah, no, you are right. Absolutely, I agree.
Mohan Bhagwat meets with the Muslim, 5 prominent Muslims, goes to a masjid, he's trolled.
Yes, true that.
No, but the election machinery, right now, if we are talking about the election machinery, whether it's the Hindu Yuva Vahini or the Bajrang Dal, however powerful they are, but right now they don't have a say or a voice in the election machinery or the election campaign. Would you agree?
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised because, you see, it's a policy of strategic ambiguity which the BJP leadership and the RSS has followed. Empower these people because they help you. If they commit an excess, distance yourself from it. It works fine up to a point, but by now you have created a Frankenstein monster. These are people, millions in numbers.
Is that, would you agree, Yashwant, or do you think that's a bit excessive?
No,
the description of a
he's spot on.
Frankenstein.
He's spot on.
The description
He's
of
spot
a
on to a sense that, Jyoti, that there are now elements which probably they will find extremely difficult to basically, control. It's a kind of a genie out of that thing, and you cannot cap the genie back in. It's like that, and it is also kind of you can draw a parallel, something which, like, why strategically BJP use them. We can probably do a different program on that. But yeah, interesting to see that the way.
Do they want to control this genie? Do they want to?
No, they do not want to. Just the way the another monster of the far left in terms of student politics and other things. The Congress was all the time happy that let them grow because it was somehow helping them in countering the BJP. They could always say it's not part of us and, they should not do it, but they could always use the utility factor of it. So I think that's a different debate. But I'm coming back on Himachal, where you were asking why it didn't work. Yes, Pavanji is bang on that there was an alternative at the constituency level, number one. Number two, at the regional level. See, the blessing in disguise for the Congress that happened are the 3 major CM candidates that we are now discussing.
Yeah.
They are coming from 3 different regions. And in order to stake their claim, what they did, instead of chopping off each other, they actually concentrated their own कि हमारे MLA ज़्यादा आ जाए. So that has actually helped them coming with this majority number. Otherwise, overall, as you just said, that the vote share gap there is absent. Also, the fact, I think the BJP, after a long time, probably dribbled with the fact that the rebels think with the new power equation is going to damage, and they lost 10 seats. 10 seats because of BJP's rebels. That's a big number. And it was not without a reason, Jyoti, that that audio clip which went viral where Prime Minister was calling one of the rebels and asking and pleading that you must sit down.
That's right.
People made fun of it. But I thought, here is a guy who is so damn focused with winning an election that he doesn't think twice, even after being the most popular guy in Indian electoral scene, calling one small rebel in one of the seats personally and requesting that if he can take his name back.
Yeah.
So see how focused they are. And I believe that this rude dribbling because of the rebels in their hands in Himachal, that will probably give them, they would work in the reverse engineering, how to deal with this in future. And also the fact that, if Congress would not have blundered in Uttarakhand, and we have discussed it many times, probably they would have won Uttarakhand as well in the routine course of action. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Congress gave it away.
So two messages from here, Pavanji. The first is that the BJP is not invincible, like we saw in Himachal. And the second message also is that nothing is too small for Prime Minister Modi, that he will reach out, he will bend bend low to be able to gather as much or as many people as he would like. So therefore, that pride or that arrogance that a lot of people attribute to him doesn't exist in his politics, at least.
It's no secret the BJP is an electoral machine. Please don't forget about Prime Minister Modi. He was a pracharak. He was a pracharak at the district level, state level, national level. Mm-hmm. Pracharaks are into the organizational schema of the party. They are not hankering necessarily for a post of power, but they are great organizers. And for a pracharak, even though he is Prime Minister, to talk to a rebel candidate whose withdrawal from the scene could ensure a BJP candidate's victory is important enough to pursue. In the Congress party, where are your firefighters?
No, but Rahul Gandhi during the Bharat Jodo Yatra,
walking from Kanyakumari to whatever the destination is. See, you need an organizer. That's why Ahmed Patel had a certain importance.
Exactly.
Now, where are the people? And that is a weakness. So the Congress has also won Himachal not because of its organizational skills. Don't forget a leader like Harsh Maharjan left the Congress party to join the BJP, who's been with the Congress for decades.
Has the Congress won Himachal because of Priyanka Gandhi?
It has won by default because of the performance of the BJP and because it's a new factor now that we need to watch. The increasing number of rebels that any political party nurtures or tolerates or is burdened with as power continues for a longer time.
Okay, so the question, Yashwant, the question, did the Congress win Himachal because of Priyanka Gandhi? She did 5 rallies.
Simple answer is a big no. I'm sorry. I mean, I did praise her even after the worst possible performance of Congress in Uttar Pradesh. I went on to praise her that the kind of hard work that she did. She did good in UP. 5 rallies was too low. I would say that it was not. I would not give that credit to Priyanka. Simple. I would rather give the credit to the 3 regional leaders of the Congress and the Congress local candidates who actually thought that they are on their own and they have to fight. And they did. And the fact that the presence of the BJP rebels helped them, that's another thing. And also, I mean, that's another thing. But yes, the very short answer to your question is a no. Yes, she going there must have, taken the spirit a little bit up. That's fine. That's what Pavanji is also saying. Wherever the Bharat Jodo Yatra is doing, cadres are getting excited. That's fine. But what is the follow-up? Where exactly, it's like if he is making rain, there is not enough check dam. I mean, okay, that's a good analogy which I can use even for the BJP and the RSS or Modi and RSS thing. Modi is a really good monsoon cloud, rains, and there is enough check dam in terms of the RSS infrastructure to hold that water. Problem with the Congress is that even if Rahul Gandhi reigns, Congress doesn't have that kind of infrastructure now in place to hold on to that one. And that probably is what, if I am correct me if I'm wrong, Pavanji, that's what process probably he is trying to say, what after the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
And what before it? Yashwantji, one more question. What before it? I have never seen a party that did as relatively well in a state like in Gujarat, Congress party. Neglect the state completely thereafter.
Exactly.
You didn't have a precedent. People were defecting from your party to the BJP.
But why? Why?
Because of lack of organizational rigor.
But why? Rahul Gandhi, until the recent presidential elections when Mallikarjun Kharge becomes the president, until then, Sonia Gandhi was interim president, Rahul Gandhi was de facto leader, he remains de facto leader. Why is there no organizational structure in Gujarat of the Congress party? What happened?
And not just in Gujarat, Jyoti. It's there is another name which probably Pavanji dropped. The lack of a political mind over there. I mean, active political mind, which probably was Ahmed Bhai's forte over there. And after his demise, unfortunately for Congress, there is not a single person or a group of person actually to replace that position. And
I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. Politics is a vacuum. I cannot believe that. Politics abhors a vacuum. You cannot ever.
No. Right now, I said it will not, never. It's not going to be a permanent vacuum. What I said, right now there is nobody to fill up his vacuum that he has created. And why I say that, and it's a study in contrast. Pavanji just mentioned that Modi being a pracharak, reaching out to even a rebel is not really abnormal to him. That's instinctively what an RSS pracharak in the organization does. Now compare it to many of our common friends, Jyoti. I will not try to take a name, but among the scribes who have been old timers on the Congress beat and other things, who in person and private confess that after the demise of Ahmed Patel, they don't even know who to call in order to have a chat or a line or something to read it. They don't have a person to call. And I can challenge you. Even the best of the old Congress networking scribes, editors, and everybody in Lutyens, everybody in Delhi, who could have actually picked up a phone and called Ahmed Patel at 2 in the midnight, 3 in the night, ask them, do they have a number where they can call and reach out to Rahul Gandhi in one single connect? You will get your answer. And the same set of people probably will say yes if you will ask him, can they reach out to, say, the current Amit Shah and Modi scenario in a 1 or 2 call thing? They will say yes, they can. So that's the problem. Somewhere, I'm not taking it in personified in terms of Ahmed Patel, but it's a problem that do not have a political mind at work in their camp.
So, Pavanji, the question to you is, if Rahul Gandhi is busy with the Bharat Jodo Yatra, uniting the people of India, etc. So the question to you, do you think Priyanka, who Yashwant believes that 5 rallies were too few in Himachal, could she be an alternative? Has she failed? Is the Congress party beyond this? And from here, I want to ask you the Aam Aadmi Party question, but first the Priyanka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi question.
You see, the simple fact is that this is a debate which only the media and people who are somehow inclined to make a comparison between Rahul and Priyanka and say who is better and who has a curvature of the nose closer to Indira Gandhi. All of this, frankly, it's totally irrelevant. Priyanka Gandhi will not do anything to diminish or challenge the leadership of her brother Rahul Gandhi. That's the bottom line.
Mhm. Okay.
So therefore, this whole business that if
She is
Priyanka
not an alternative. So she's not a potential alternative to Prime Minister Modi.
he is a competent person who
Yes.
can provide the collateral support with a verifiable a public appeal, but she cannot become the leader of the Congress party so long as Rahul Gandhi is there. That's the bottom line. That's the truth of it. So there's no point in asking this question.
So in this Congress Mukt Bharat that the BJP is now pursuing with huge, aggression, how do you see the Aam Aadmi Party? I mean, by dint of its very hard work, it has been able to establish itself in Delhi, in Gujarat, not in Himachal, but at least Delhi and Gujarat.
It's a national party now, Jyoti, and to give due credit to them, I mean, achieving a national party status is no mean joke. And please don't go over their vote share of 13%, 14% across Gujarat, because in two regions, they are at par with Congress. In South Gujarat and in Saurashtra, they have reached the 20% mark for all practical purposes. So now it depends on Arvind Kejriwal. Does he repeat the mistake of the Congress by, after winning 77 seats in 5 years back, Congress just vanished leadership. They just didn't go back to Gujarat. They just didn't invest in Gujarat. So if Arvind Kejriwal continues to invest in Gujarat, I think it is a state for him to grow. At least in the first step at the expense of the Congress to become a principal opposition party maybe 5 years down the lane. That's for him to grow. But again, as far as Arvind Kejriwal is concerned, he has his own limitations of actually being a good brand, but not having any infrastructure whatsoever. On the other hand, Congress has a problem which is just the bang opposite. Probably, it's an old party with people in each and every village still there, but their leadership factor is not having that kind of charisma. Well, talking about charisma, I genuinely believe Priyanka Gandhi's charisma, I'm using the term, is multiple times over than Rahul Gandhi. I mean, that's goes without saying. And I believe that every person who is not going into statistical or anything, just purely by plain marking, can actually see it. But why and how, I don't know. The Gandhis do not want to use her that much. That's their personal and entirely internal.
Right. Yes. But Pavanji, the Aam Aadmi Party question. Do you think that Delhi is the way forward? Their performance in Gujarat is the way forward for them?
See, there are some things going for the Aam Aadmi Party. One is that it has publicly eschewed the possibility of the familiar arithmetic paradigm, which is a coalition of parties. Arithmetical unity means nothing unless there is an organic unity. And Kejriwal has decided that he will, in his own time, emerge as the counter to the BJP. In fact, in a personal conversation with me once when I was sitting with him, he said to me, Pavanji, sabse pehle to unse Ram lena hai.
Unse Ram lena hai?
I mean, in the sense that they seem to have a monopoly over what the Hindus want, which is not the truth. And we all know it's not the truth, but they claim it. I have to challenge that. So, they have that national ambition. Now, what are their weaknesses? You see, whatever you may say, it's a party that is largely urban based. The intricacies of rural India and the organizational and grassroots strength that requires is currently missing because they are caught up in one election after the other, which is their immediate target rather than planning for a long-term goal. But sometimes it succeeds. After all, Yashwantji will remember, when they made their first foray into Punjab, how many seats did they win? I think 4.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it took a decade, and now they are 91 seats forming a government. So there is an incremental focus on the larger goal which the AAP is pursuing. But let me just say, Delhi Duras, Hanos Delhi Duras, because it's a very long process. And in my view, which is personal, to counter the BJP in the short term, it is far more important, not arithmetical unity, but strategic alliances between strongholds of different parties on a pan-India basis. Unfortunately, and I am really despairing of the opposition, I've been National General Secretary of one party and Vice President of the TMC. They don't smell the coffee. They are happy in their individual silos.
Why?
And each of them will be challenged in their silos by the BJP. In West Bengal, by the BJP. In Telangana, by the BJP. In Andhra, by the PG. BJP talks of Congress Mukt Bharat. Do you know that in the swathe from Bihar to Kerala, how many states? Bihar, Bengal, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala. Out of 200 seats, the parties, non-BJP parties have 150 seats, roughly.
Do that.
So it's not, their BJP strength lies in the north. In
But
the
why is the
north,
opposition, Pavanji, why is the opposition unwilling to smell the coffee?
I'll tell you, because the opposition needs to work harder. Akhilesh, for instance, I met him after the election. He's a bright young man with, of course, a lineage, and he's a legatee of power. He lost 2014. He lost 2017. He lost 2019. And then in COVID, he spent a considerable period of time, understandably, in London. He returns to UP 6 months before the elections or 8 months before. The BJP began after 3 victories the next day after 2019 to work for 2022. On just a Yadav Muslim base, 24%, you can't defeat the BJP, period. You have to co-opt another ethnic community. You have to strategize. You have to plan. If you don't work hard and you are happy to be leader of opposition,
Exactly.
then
Exactly.
there's no way to help you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the last question, absolutely, Pavanji. And the last question to you, Yashwant, the message from the Rampur election that Azam Khan of the Samajwadi Party, who had won that seat 10 times, his protege lost it to the BJP. What's the message from there?
Message from Rampur to Himachal to Gujarat.
To Delhi.
Everywhere to Delhi. Everywhere message is only one: voter doesn't like when they are taken for granted. Simple. No voter, no matter who the voter is, individual, me and you alike, nobody likes to be taken for granted. And whenever they are taken for granted, in different ways, in MCD, the BJP voters said that. In Gujarat, the BJP rebels said that. In Rampur, the Samajwadi voters said that. Muslims said that. And in Gujarat, the opposition voters said that to the Congress, that you have taken me for granted. You are not doing anything on the ground to oppose the BJP. I would rather vote for an upcoming Aam Aadmi Party, even if the vote is wasted. I don't care, because you are no good.
So are you saying that Muslims are voting for the BJP in Rampur?
Not Muslims, but a section of Pasmanda Muslims for sure. And one more thing, everybody was so focused on where the Muslims voted in Gujarat. Yes, 50% of them still voted for the Congress. I understand that. But nobody actually pointed that every fourth Muslim in Gujarat actually voted for the BJP. Oversimplification, sometimes, boomerangs in the analysis, and we lose the smaller things. And the way BJP is trying, or Prime Minister is trying to now go for the Pasmanda, and also how much it will deliver, I'm not going after that. But I'm simply trying to say, first time in Gujarat, I am looking at a scenario, not just in Gujarat, anywhere, that the anti-incumbency worked, but it worked against the principal opposition party, not against the ruling party.
Okay.
For the fact that the opposition voters in Gujarat were fed and tired of being taken for granted कि कांग्रेस कुछ नहीं करेगी तो अभी हम कांग्रेस को वोट देंगे, ऐसा नहीं होगा.
And that is how it should be. That
That's
the
the lesson.
voter,
That's the lesson for everyone, that voters do not really hate it when they are taken for.
absolutely. And that is how it should be, that the voter cannot be taken for granted. I hope, like Pavan Varma says, the opposition wakes up and smells the coffee. But until it does, the BJP, Prime Minister Modi leading from the front, his party winning across the board. But thank you both so much, Pavan Varma and Yashwant Deshmukh, for your amazing political insights. Thank you for joining me in the print debates. Thank you again.